Hi Harvey, this is Mrs. Gonzalez. So I found that a lot of you guys are still struggling with solving these inequalities. Remember, your inequality is your less than or greater than sign, or your greater than or equal to sign. So whenever we're solving these inequalities, remember your goal is to get x by itself, or whatever variable is being presented. In this situation, it's x. So I need to get x by itself because I want to solve for x. I don't know what x is. I need to figure out what that is. So in order for me to determine what x is, first I need to figure out, okay, what is around the x that I need to get rid of so that I can get it by itself? Well, I see that I have a -3 there. So I need to be thinking, okay, what is the inverse of -3 or -3? Well, the inverse of -3 is +3. So since I'm adding 3 on this side of my inequality, I'm going to add 3 on this side of the inequality. So there's my problem. Remember, this becomes 0 because a -3 and a +3 is called a zero pair. So now I have x by itself on this side. My inequality sign comes down, and then I just add the 3 to the 5, which is 8. So now I want to graph it. So I'm going to start my 0 here, and I'm just going to go up, by increments of 2. So if I plug in this 8 into this x here, so now I have 8 is less than or equal to 8. Is that statement still true? Yes, because 8 is equal to 8. It's not less than 8, but because I have that or equals on that inequality, it makes it true. So I'm going to go to 8, and I'm going to go ahead and put my dot there because 8 can be a solution for this inequality statement. My arrow is pointing to the left. So I'm going to shade in everything to the left of the 8 because everything to the left of 8 could be a possible solution to make this statement true. And you can test it. Pick any number to the left of 8. Well, if I plug in a 4, is 4 less than or equal to 8? It's less than 8. -1. Is -1 less than or equal to 8? Well, it's less than. It's a true statement. Okay, so let's try another one. So let's say I have, let's do 2m is greater than, let's say 12. All right, so we have 2m is greater than 12. Well, first you have to determine what is my variable and how do I get it by itself. Well, my variable here in this situation, it's m, right? Remember, a variable can be any letter. So m is my variable. Now I need to determine, okay, what operation is going on between the 2 and the m? Remember, operation, we're talking about, well, are they adding, or subtracting, multiplying, or dividing? Well, when you have your coefficient next to a variable, that is multiplication that's going on between those two. So if you have to, put a dot there so it can remind you what operation they're actually doing there. So since I'm multiplying the 2 by the m, in order for me to get rid of that 2, because I want to isolate the m, is to do the inverse of multiplication. Inverse, what's going to undo multiplication, or what's the opposite of multiplication? Well, I'm going to divide. So I have to divide. Remember, that fraction bar means to divide. I'm going to divide by 2 because that's what I'm trying to get rid of. So on this side, I have to do the same thing because remember the whole balancing thing? If I divide by 2 on one side, in order for me to stay balanced, I got to do the exact same thing to the other side to stay balanced. So now I'm balanced, right? So 2 divided by 2, that's easy. That's 1. And 1 times m is just m. That's your identity property. 1 times anything, it's going to keep its identity. It stays the same. So 1 times m is going to stay m. My inequality sign comes down. And then 12 divided by 2, well, that's just taking half of 12, which is 6. Now I have to graph it. So again, plug in 6 into the m. So that's what I do. Is 6 greater than 6? No, it's not. No, right? So we say no. So you take that O, and I'm going to go to 6. So 0, 2, 4, 6, or 6. because it kind of erased. I'm going to put an O on 6. And because my inequality sign is pointing to the right, I'm going to shade everything in to the right of 6. So that tells me anything to the right of 6, if I plug it into this statement, it's going to make it true. So let's try it. So remember, we're going up by increments of 10. If I plug in 8 into this statement, is 8 greater than 6? Yes, it checks. Is 10 greater than 6? Yes, that still checks. So there we have it. That's multiplying or solving inequality with multiplication. So now let's take a look at one. If we're dividing, how do we do that with a fraction? Because I saw a lot of you guys struggling with that one. So let's say I have x divided by 4 is less than 5. All right, there we go. X divided by 4. Well, here's my variable. That's the variable I'm trying to get by itself. I need to isolate the variable. Here's my 4. I need to get rid of 4. So we know this is division that's going on. So I need to do the inverse operation of multiplication, which is, the inverse of division, which is multiplication. So I'm going to multiply by 4 in order to get rid of this 4 here. I'm going to multiply by 4 on this side, since that's what I'm doing over here. I want to keep it balanced. Well, these two become 1. X is by itself because 1 times x. We solve for my x there. Bring down your inequality sign. And then 5 times 4, well, that's just 20. So again, if I plug in 20 here, is 20 less than 20? No, it's not. So I'm going to go ahead and let's say this is 0, 10, 20, 30. You can number your number line however you want. So it's a bigger number, so I'm going to go up by increments of 10. Since 20 cannot be a solution for this inequality statement, I'm going to go to 20. I'm going to put my circle there. And because it's pointing to the left, towards the negative direction, I'm going to shade in everything to the left of 20. And then you can check it. Any one of these numbers, if I plug it into the statement, should make this statement true. So if I plug in 10 here, is 10 less than 20? Yeah. Negative 10. Is negative 10 less than 20? Yep, it works. So I know it's shaded in correctly. All right, so hopefully that helps you guys out a little bit better. And if you still need help, come see me for tutoring. Bye.